What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Oh, you guys, welcome back to another edition of Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. And you guys, if you're clicking on this video, if you're watching this video, you probably want to know about my experience going back to the movie theaters. So this is not going to be one of our normal videos that we do. This is more of an editorial. If you watch the other video that I just put out about going to Universal Studios, you'll know that we were in Florida. My girlfriend and I just went to Florida to go visit her family. And while we were there, we wanted to kind of take advantage of some of the amenities that were available to us in Florida that are not available to us here in New York City, but with a huge caveat. We only agreed if we could do it safely. We're living in a pandemic. We didn't want to go out willy-nilly, and we're in Orlando, Florida, which right now is kind of one of the worst hot spots in the country. So we wanted to be very, very cautious and very careful, and only if we could do any of this safely. So, before I get into the editorial, real quick, if you head on over to youtube.com, type in Gotta Love Them Movies, you will see a red square in the top right-hand corner of the screen. It says subscribe. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button. What clicking on that subscribe button does is it helps us to widen our subscriber base. And with more subscribers, we get more watched content on the channel. With more watched content on the channel, I get more ad revenue. And with more ad revenue, I get to make this show my full-time job. So I'd very much appreciate if you go over to YouTube, click on that red subscribe button. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hey, you're already here. Might as well just do it, right? All right. So, like I said, if you're watching this video, you kind of want to know what our experience was like going back to the movies. So at first, we went to two different movie theaters while we were down there. The first one was the Cinemark at Universal City Walk. It's the entryway that leads right up into Universal Studios. So the Cinemark, both the Cinemark, and we also went to AMC at Disney Springs. There, ta-da! So we went to both two different theaters. I was the most impressed with all of the steps that they're taking to ensure safety and cleanliness. Here's the thing: these movie theaters are on the brink of closure. AMC Theaters is $5 billion in debt, probably more now because of the pandemic. They put themselves $5 billion in debt knowingly, and it was a smart risk because they were upgrading all of their theaters, all of their cinemas, making an incredible and impeccable movie experience for all of their customers, myself included. AMC is my favorite theater chain. Regal was doing the same thing. Cinemark was doing the same thing. Like, all of these people were upgrading. And now here we are in a pandemic, and nobody could have predicted this. Nobody could have planned for it. And now all the theaters are in extreme danger of shutting down permanently. Like, for real. Like the movies could be a thing that just don't happen anymore. We'll have to wait and see. I hope not. I hope that's not going to be the case. But anyway, with that level of this experience might go away entirely. All of the theaters are taking extreme precautions, or I can't say every single movie theater, but the two that we went to in Orlando. And you think of Florida concerning the pandemic, and I don't think it's outside of the realm of impossibility to think that, well, maybe Florida isn't taking us as seriously as they could in terms of like the pandemic and social activities. But I gotta say, you guys, these two movie theaters that we went to, now granted, one is owned and operated by Universal Studios, one is owned and operated by Walt Disney. Maybe not owned and operated, but they're on those properties. And so probably maybe a little extra effort is being done to ensure very strict safety protocols in these theaters. After every single movie that plays, people come in, and I saw them. They were spraying all the seats down and wiping all the seats down. Now, me being me, I brought my own alcohol wipes and my own alcohol spray. So I was doing my due diligence, and I was wiping everything down, because as much as I would like to trust everyone around me, the fact of the matter is that I personally don't trust people to do the jobs that they have been entrusted to do. That's just me. Those are my own neuroses. A lot of people do. And I guess an argument could be made that, these protocols of like wiping everything down, but right after every single person comes into this thing, might be overkill. Maybe there's an argument for that. I don't think a very good one. Because like this is a very serious thing. We need to take this very seriously. So I always do my own brand of cleaning. There was this whole exchange at the concession stand between like the woman who's handling my credit card. I think there was something that like it didn't go through properly or something like that. I can't quite remember. So like I think I had to use a different card when I went to like exchange one card for another. They're like, oh, like I can't touch that because you've already touched it. Yeah, again, I can't remember the exact situation that it went down. All I remember is I tried to hand the woman on the other side of the counter something, and she's like, no, I can't take that because you've already touched it. And I was like, you know what? Fair play. Thank you for playing by the rules. That was like the one time that I was not completely vigilant in trying to keep, this sanitation. And again, not a lot of people at the theaters, but those that were, everybody had their masks on. In the theater, that wasn't entirely the case. So we went to Universal Studios. We went to the Cinemark Theater at Universal on their City Walk property. Everybody in the theater, and I think there was maybe like 4 or 5 of us in total, everybody was wearing their masks. Thank you to those people that were wearing their masks throughout the entire movie. We went to go see the New Mutants. I'll do a full review on the movie later, but in terms of the movie-going experience, plenty of room to spread out. I mean, they're keeping the theaters to 25% capacity, but I gotta be honest, 25% of the population is not showing up to go to the movie theaters. There was 5 people in this theater up until the time that Kim and I were the first ones to walk in the theater. I pulled out my alcohol wipes. We wiped everything down. We sat down. We thought, hey, if we're going to be the only people in here, we're going to take our masks off. A few minutes later, a few people showed in or came into the theater. So we went ahead and put our masks on, and everybody was wearing their masks. So it was a great experience. I didn't for a second, I didn't feel unsafe. Not at all. It was great. The next day, we ended up going to, like I said, over to Disney Springs. We went to the AMC theater over there. And I feel like this theater, like as clean and meticulous as they were over at City Walk, at the Cinemark at City Walk, this AMC at Disney Springs, it was impeccably clean. I don't know what they could have. There's one thing that they could have done. A little intrusive, but there was a couple sitting. Yes, they were behind us, but they were also like off to the other side. So like here's the aisle right here. Kim and I are sitting here, and the couple was like back up here, right? So they were on the other side of the aisle behind us. So they were, oh man, I dare say maybe 50 feet away from us. They were probably about 50 feet away, and with their prerogative, they probably felt safe taking their masks off during the movie because nobody was in their immediate vicinity. Nobody was. Like I said, they were probably about 50 feet away. Was it fine? Yeah, I'm sure it was. All the studies and everything says 6 feet. 6 feet is what you need. 6 feet, say 6 feet away. Okay, fine. I would have felt better had they kept their masks on throughout the entire movie. They didn't. I wanted them to. There were a few other people in the theater, not many. They were off, on the other side of the theaters and like in front. And I don't think there was anybody else behind us. But, all of that is to say, everybody kept their masks on except for this older couple back behind us on the other side of the aisle. Yeah, it was probably fine. And that's the thing. sometimes you can't control the general population. You can inform the general population, but it's up to the general population to do what they're going to do, to make their own choices. And this particular choice, I wasn't incredibly thrilled with. I didn't love that these people were, granted, they were like maybe 40, 50 feet away from us. They were more than the 6 foot social distancing guidelines. And that's fine. I just would have felt better had they kept their masks on. Yes, all the theaters have like updated and upgraded all of their airflow systems. Cool, great, awesome. We're breathing the cleanest version of air that we could breathe, bars being outside. So that's great. Good for them. They're wiping everything down. That's great. Good for them. I'm an advocate of returning to the theaters. Again, if you can do it safely. Again, if we're keeping that social distance. Again, if everybody is wearing their masks. I'm all for it. The hard part is when you start getting into a semi-crowded theater and some people decide, you know what? This whole mask thing, nobody's going to enforce it once the lights go down. Lights go down, you take your mask off. That I'm not okay with. That I'm not okay with at all. And then it begs the question, do you leave the movie to go rat these people out, but now you miss the movie? And it's just I don't know, it's a weird thing. If you feel safe going to the theaters, go for it. Personally, I do. I feel that a lot of theaters, because they are in such danger of being closed permanently, and they need money coming in. They don't have hardly any money coming in right now. They need money coming in. They need patrons to keep them alive. So they're going to do whatever they can do within their power to keep the people around them safe, to ensure a safe experience for everyone. Question is, how do you enforce certain things like that? How do you enforce certain things like that? Anyway, all of this is to say, I felt safe returning back to the movie theaters. I had an incredible experience. And I hope that more people can see videos like this and reviews and editorials, and that they can feel safe returning back to the movies. I want everybody to return back to the movies because I don't want the theaters to die. This is one of my favorite things in the world. I love the theatrical experience. And without it, this channel pretty much won't exist. So if you feel safe going back to the theaters, please take that opportunity if you have one nearby or close to you. I live in New York City. The closest theater to us is either in New Jersey. I have to cross the Hudson and go into New Jersey, or I have to hop on a train and go up to Connecticut. So it's not that easy for me to go back to the movie theaters right now. Like I said, I feel safe. I feel okay, but I can't. Just because I feel safe doesn't mean that you will or will not feel safe. But huge question for you guys is, how do you feel about returning back to the movie theaters? Does this editorial, does this review kind of help put your fears at ease a little bit? Maybe kind of, sort of, somewhat. I'm very interested. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share, because that is exactly what AMC Theaters would want you to do. All right, guys, my name is Mike Brown. This is Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. And until our next video, have a great day.